What's up, traders? Highly requested video. Finally gonna go ahead and make it real quick. Going to show you how to put hot buttons onto your montage, and then I'm going to just go ahead and give you guys the scripts that I use and also try to explain them a little bit. So with that said, let's get to it. All right, so first things first, you're gonna go over to your main menu. You're gonna hit the trade button, and then right under that is montage. It's going to bring this up, and then if you want to drag it off to a different screen, you're going to have to right click and hit, it's going to say pop out, which you're not going to be able to see it because it's over here on the other screen, but where this says MDI child, you're going to see pop out. So you're going to hit pop out, and then you can drag it wherever you want. And if you want to go ahead and move it back into the platform itself where it's only that one screen, you can do that as well by hitting MDI child, or you can just leave it there to begin with if you are only using one screen. So what you're going to do, somewhere inside this montage, right now I have it set to the stop montage, which if you right click and hit style, it's going to be default. So it's going to look like this. In order to get it to where I have it, you just find a little open space anywhere here in the montage, go down to style, and then you can put it on what you want. I use stop orders, so I like to put stop order in there. It's already on the montage. It's nice and easy. Also, within that right click, you can go to layout config. And this is where you're going to add the hot button. So originally when your montage, you pull it up, it's going to look exactly like this, right? It's going to be default. So to get it to be able to use hot buttons, you're going to right click, go to layout config. You're going to come down here. You're also, if you want level 2 on there, you obviously got to add that. You can put these in whatever order you want. And then you're also going to make sure hot button is selected. Hit OK. And as you can see, we now have our hot buttons. The ability, right? It says right click here to add a button, and then we also have our level 2, level 1, all that good stuff. So if you want to add the stop config back, which I do just to show you how, right click again, stop order, and now that's all in there. So this is exactly what my montage looks like before you do anything to it. So we have the SPY behind us. So if we type in the SPY, you'll see the level 2 pops up, and we can also link it to the chart by using this anchor right here. So this anchor, you just drag it to the chart that you want it linked to, and then there you go. So as you can see, the SPY is here. Say we wanted to type in Tesla, and as you can see, there we go. So now to get our hot buttons, you're just going to right click. You're going to hit add row. Now it's going to pop up number of buttons in row. You can put as many as you want in there. The more you put in there, the smaller it's going to be based on how big your montage. So if you want 1, you can put 1. If you want 2, let's hit add row. We can put 2. If you want 3, etc., etc. We're going to go ahead and put, let's add another row, and I'll show you what it looks like if you put 10 in there. So you can see they get smaller and smaller. However, you can change the size of the buttons if you want to by editing the button, and right here where it says button height, you can change this to whatever you want. So if you want to make it nice and big, the script says script can't be blank. And the thing is, when you change one button size, they're all always going to be the same size. So you can't have one button size bigger than, say, these down here. The only way they get smaller is if you have multiples and whatnot. Now, there is one thing to keep in mind. If you are going to have multiple rows of buttons, like I do, which I'm going to show you here in a second, you have to make sure you plan ahead. Write this out on a piece of paper, what you want, because if you don't, say you want to take a script that is down here, and like say you want to move this whole row of 10 in between this row of 1 and 2. Well, in order to do that, you're going to have to delete this entire row and then move it below it. There's no like click and drag or anything like that. The only way to move these around is to literally delete and then add them back. So always keep that in mind. Do a little bit of like layout prep before you do it, and all that good stuff. So anyways, once you get a layout that you like, if you have multiple charts up, if you don't, all you got to do is set it up once. But if you do have multiple charts, what you do is right click the banner up here, and you can hit save as default. I'm not going to do that because I already have a default, and I'm going to show it to you by hitting load default. And so when I hit this, you're going to see my default pop up. I'm going to hit commit, and now these are a little bit bigger, so I got to go back and edit this back to the lower size. And if you watch any of my videos, this is exactly what mine looks like. The only thing that's changed right now is these two buttons. Instead of going for descending triangles and ascending triangles, I changed this to short the ask and buy the bid. So there's really not too much to be tricky when it comes to shorting the ask and buying the bid. In fact, let's just go ahead and show you. In order to make a hot button, if you guys haven't already, this is a completely different subject, but you go to Setup, and you go to Hotkey, and it's going to pop this guy up. And basically, there's a bunch of pre-configured hotkeys in here, but in order to make one, I'm going to show you real quick. You can either hit Edit Item, which will edit one of these, or you can just hit Add New Item, and this is what's going to pop up. Go to Order Script Wizard. Now, in order to sell on the short, all you got to do is hit Sell. The price is going to be on the ask, and you're going to, if you want to put the route as limit, you can, which I like to do. So ask, and then load and send. Now, if you don't, I'm pretty sure it gives you a limit order anyway as default, but just to be safe, I always put it in there. But then literally this is all you do. So sell on the ask, a limit order, load and send. There you go. This is what the hotkey would look like for shorting on the ask. Now keep in mind, when you do this, you have to take it upon yourself to fill everything else in. So if you want 100 shares, put 100 shares in. You don't have to worry about the price, because when you hit the button, it's going to be there. So the only thing you have to worry about right there is the shares. Now, if you want to change this yourself from limit to market in between and do it yourself, then you can take that part out of the hotkey. It's completely up to you. Now, in order to take, all you would do is take that script, hit Control C, highlight it, Control C, come into your new hot buttons that you added here, and let me show you what I mean. So if I hit Add Row, it would be nice if it would just go under the row that you click that on, but it doesn't. It always goes to the bottom. So keep that in mind. You can, if you want, you can add to a row, right? You can add a button to a specific row, but that's the only way you can do that. However, if you want to add a whole nother row or move this row up to here, you can't do that. So just keep that in mind. Now let's see where we're at. So the scripts. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just briefly go through what my scripts are, and then I'm going to list the actual scripts down in the description below. So if you want any of these, feel free to check out the description below. I'll have them linked down there, or not linked, but I'll have them down there in the description. So if you want to copy paste them, you can. So the descending triangle, I'll go ahead and show you guys what this is. I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these and explain what they are. It would honestly, it would be a good learning experience for you to pull these up yourself and then go through and try to understand what it means itself. And then if you can't understand it, come into the comment section and ask me, and we can go from there. But if you go into, I believe, the hotkey section, there, I believe, is when you're adding these, you can actually select for, I thought you could hit help on some of these, but maybe it's on their website itself. I think if you go to DOS's website, you can actually look up like what each command means, and it's just like learning a new program language. So it's a matter of kind of messing around with it and just coming up with everything that works. And it's a lot of testing. I can't tell you how many times I've built something and I thought it would work and then it doesn't, and it's just a lot of tweaking. So what the descending triangle does, let's see if we have an option over here. So Tesla's not a good thing for this, but I'll just leave it up. But say we wanted to get short this, what this button's going to do, since I have $25 as the risk, it's going to take $25, and it clearly wouldn't work on Tesla because of the range. Let's just go down to something a little, what was something that went today? What did we play? IQ? Okay, this is actually perfect because it's kind of in a descending triangle. So what it would do here on IQ is if we hit this button, it would take $25 as the risk. It would calculate our shares for us based off of high of day. So high of day is 2150, as my montage just appeared, and it will put a stop in at high of day at 2150, and it'll give us the share size based on what the current price is on the bid. So 21.28. So it would take 25. There's 25 cents up to 21.50-ish, right? So it'll do the math for you, and it'll give you the shares appropriate so that if you do get stopped out at 21.50, you'll lose 25 bucks. That's what it's for. And an ascending triangle is the exact same thing, just in the opposite. So if you had something coming down at low of day and it starts to come up, make an ascending triangle, and you want to risk off of low of day, that's what this does. And again, I'll put these down in the comment section below. Now, these buttons, these orange buttons that you see, when I pull up a ticker, what I'm looking at, I have it all the way zoomed out like this. If you look over here on the sidebar, the range of the price, that's what these are for. So right now it's the 12.13 cent, which is just a weird one to me. I don't quite understand where that one comes from. What's another one we traded today? Let's see if we can find it. So IOVA, here we go. So 20 cents on IOVA. We come over here, we could hit the 25-cent button because I don't have one for 12, 13 cents, or 20 cents. So usually I'll use 10 cents if I really like the chart on that 10 or 12 to 13 cent chart. And if it's at 20 cents, I'll just use the 25-cent one, just close enough for me. And so you would just click it, and that's the share size that I would be starting my position with, and we're good to go, right? Then it's just a matter of, and I have it set to go 3 cents below the current bid. So as it's going up, if I like it, it'll give me 30.41. As like if I click it again, you'll see it reload it. So 53 was on the bid, it gave us 50. So that at that point, I know I'm below the current bid, and I can get short just by hitting the short button. Nice and simple. And that's what all this is for each of these. So every time I pull up a chart, I'm looking at the range of the stock based on the scale over here, and that's what these orange buttons are for. So stop at high of day. Pretty self-explanatory. Say we got into our position here at IOVA, it starts to come down. Say we take some profit, we have some leftovers, and it starts chopping around, starting to do exactly this, curling up. But we want to try to hold our position, looking for the bigger move down, but we want to just stop out at high of day. Click this button. It's going to take your remaining shares and put a stop in for you at high of day. And you can also change this. I'm going to show you real quick. So we have it set so that it goes right to high. So high is the code language for high of day. If you want to do something like plus 0.01, you can do that. So it'll actually go high of day plus a penny. So if you want to be over high of day, you can do 10 cents, right? You can modify these however you want, but the main purpose of this button is to put that stop at high of day. It's going to help you out. It's just nice and quick. You don't have to worry about entering all kinds of different things. Just hit it. Now, a really cool one that I like is the next one here. It's stop at break even. Stop at break even is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to take your current average. So say our average was here at 31.86. I didn't want to click it because my montage couldn't go away. Say it's coming down and it's not quite hitting our target profit, but it's trying, and I don't want to let this go back against us and turn us red. So I could just hit stop at break even. So when it gets to my break even, which is my average, it'll stop us out. And again, no different than the stop at high of day. It's just a stop at your average because that's where the break even is. So stop at max. This is a pretty cool one as well. You can hit it at any time, and it will tell you whatever your predefined risk is. So right here, I have $150 in here. Now, don't ask me exactly how this one was made. Me and Constantine kind of threw this one together and somehow made it work. And it works. So just leave it at that. That one and the shares left one, but we'll get to that. So stop max, what it does is you're going to change this number here, the 150, to whatever you want your max dollar loss to be on any given stock. So say we're in IOVA here, and we want to know what price it has to get to in order to stop us out for $150 loss. We would hit this button, and it'll do just that. It'll show us exactly where $150 loss would be if we were to take that trade. And it's that simple. It'll put the order in, and now you'll know where that max loss is. So say something's kind of running against you a little bit, you're starting to get worried, and just make sure that your unrealized isn't already at $150 because it will stop you out if you don't have an intention to stop you out. If you're already past that number, it's going to put the stop in, and you're going to immediately get filled because you're already over that number. So keep that in mind as well. Cover 1R. I haven't made one for the other side of this, but this was more of just a way where if something is going against me and I get a few, if I scale into the position a little bit, I can hit this button at any given time and say it goes up against me 35 cents total. Well, what this is going to do in the moment, I don't have to sit there and do that math. Okay, my average is here, high of days here. If I subtract the two, that's 35 cents. Okay, what's 35 cents minus my average? I don't have to do all that math. All I got to do is click this button, and it's going to do it all for me. And what that's going to do is, I believe I have this one set to load, not load and send. Yeah. So it's going to pop up here where the price is, the price it has to get to in order for me to make 1-to-1 on my money based off of the current average and the current high of day. So that's what Cover 1R does. Pretty self-explanatory. Shares left. this one's an interesting one. Me and Constantine have no idea how it works. We kind of threw it together, but it works. And what it's doing is, say we're scaling into this position, and at any given time, I have this one set to 100. I think I had it at 150, but I must have changed it. So say we want to risk $100 on the trade, and as it made this move up, say we had scaled into it from down here and we're down, say, $70 at the high, right? So if I hit the cover 1R, it would tell me where I could make $70. But with shares left, it's basically saying, okay, we have $30 left to use based off of that high. Well, it's going to do kind of what the descending triangle button does, but with the amount of money you have left based off of high of day. So if I have that $30 left, and say the current bid is down here at like 31.55, it's going to tell me, okay, well, with $30 you can get this amount of shares up to high of day, and it's going to show it to you up here in the display and price. It's going to show you how many shares you can take. So that's what the shares left button does. So what you would do, if at any point in time what you want your final risk to be, it'll use that. So if you're down 70 at high of day, it means you have 30 left. If you're using 100, it will tell you how many shares you can take based off of high of day, based off of the current price. So that one's a little bit confusing, but it's really nice. If you're looking to try to get max size every single trade and you don't mind adding on the backside, or where you think the backside move is happening, then this could be a button for you. But yeah, that's what that does. Now, these are all pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead and just leave these down there. I'm going to just, cover 50%, cover 80%, cover 100%, load 50%, load 80%. These are for getting out of a position. So if I'm short in a position and I'm looking to cover, I'll use these three buttons based on different scenarios, but usually based off of how quick the move happens. And same thing if I'm long in a position, I want to sell. That's what these are for. So the loads are just in case I want to see, like say I scaled into a position and I don't want to do the quick math, I can go ahead and just hit the load button and it'll load 50% of my shares at a, I don't even know if it'll load the price, but I'm pretty sure it's probably just the bid, maybe. Nope, don't even have that in there. So, or yeah, ask plus 5. So what that's doing is it's just loading 50% of your current share size into the montage, and then it'll also put a price in there, and then you can obviously just use your mouse wheel if you want to adjust the price. You can type it in wherever you want the order to go, so that way you can kind of put it where it's at. But if something's moving really fast, like you can see Iova did here, and you just want to hurry up and make sure you get a cover, that's what these are for. These are load and sends, and these will actually, if you hit cover 80%, it's going to cover 80% of your position at the current ask price. So same with 50 and same with 100 if you want to get out of the full position. And again, if you're long and you want to sell out, that's what these are. So again, I'm going to list these all down in the description. If you do have any questions about any of them, feel free to leave a question down in the comment section below. Hopefully I went through this enough. This is definitely a highly requested video, so hopefully I explained everything as well as I could, and hopefully it gets the point across with what each of those mean. And I haven't changed them in a while. I used to change these all the time, but these are the ones I've been sticking with lately. It's what really goes with my strategy the best, and I have no problem trying to help out with some other hotkeys. I like messing with DOS. I love doing all of this programming language type stuff. So if you do have any questions, feel free to ask, and I will do my best to help you out. And if I can't, you can always go over to DOS support. They're really great. Any questions I've ever had about trying to get something to work that I couldn't figure out, they are on top of it. Just start up a chat with them via their website and they're more than happy to help. So with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always appreciate that support. If you do have any questions or comments, like I said before, leave those down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.